the belief system doesn't reside in only us. It resides in different nationalities as well.
Chinese, Tibetan,
Absolutely.
etc.
Even spiritual people, keenness to go and explore and do the parikrama of Manasarovar. There are other entities who also come towards the Manasarovar to take a dip because it's a holy water. For the reasons of being unknown to the world and for completely immersing themselves into deep meditation, they go into the waters of the Manasarovar and then they dive beneath and they sit there and meditate as well. Because of their yoga that they do, develop such strength and their certain faculties have opened up to such an extent that they don't associate themselves with the body. ऐसे भी herbs हैं that can give you the necessary nutrients and proteins just through that seed. Have you heard of Rechaka? Take your tongue inside your mouth, tip of your tongue, go inside and touch a particular part of your throat inside. It releases a substance which can also, therefore, not make you thirsty or hungry. Swami Rama was taken to the US by doctors because they couldn't believe the fact that Swami Rama had the control over his involuntary organs. Swami Rama took Samadhi as well. He's written a lovely book called Walking with the Himalayan Master. His experiences as a sadhu, as a yogi in the Himalayas.
Namaste and welcome to this episode of the Oddcast show. As Indians, we are spoiled for choice when it comes to our gods. We have so many of them. But who's that one god that all of us revere so much? Who's that one god, who can be very, very calm, but also very, very upset in the same instant? I'm talking about Bhagwan Shiva. And to discuss his aspects, we are joined by Mayur Kalbag ji. Namaste, Mayur Kalbag ji. How are you?
Namaste. It's lovely, but I would say Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev.
Because we are going to talk about
of course.
Shiva.
So to begin with, why is Bhagwan Shiva such a loved god? Like, why is he considered amongst many of our, Hindu scriptures, etc., as to be the supreme being, the first god?
I think it has to do with the fact that Shiva embodies those personality traits, those qualities which we can identify with. Shiva is a representation of creation. We also create. Creativity. When Shiva is upset and disturbed, there is anger.
Right.
To the extent that we talk about the third eye.
Right.
So we also can relate because we do, face that situation where we may lose our temper. I believe that through this, we want to live a life which is balanced, where there is happiness, there is a bit of sorrow, but we look forward to happiness. And that kind of sustenance is also what Shiva represents, which is why I think we are very, amongst all the gods and goddesses, we can connect with Shiva. This is the pleasantly interesting stuff, but there's something more intriguing. Shiva also dances in ecstasy.
Right.
Tandav is what Mahadev does. So, people can relate to that extent that if you watch certain prayers and certain music-oriented things about Shiva, they're very fast, very passionately aggressive beats. And that also is a reason why I think he's very popular. Of course, there are some people who also go to the extent of doing some smoke and stuff, which I don't agree with, to be honest. But from a spiritual point of view as well, he is very popular because despite the traits of, creation, sustenance, and destruction, meditation is what also describes Mahadev.
In that state of calmness.
Complete calmness very deep. इतना कि हम ये भी बोलते कि don't, Shiva should not be disturbed, because then when he's disturbed, he could become a bit angry. So for spiritual aspirants, also, Shiva becomes the go-to god.
He's the
Because-
embodiment of
Yeah.
spirituality.
Deep meditation and meditation. Tandav bhi hai. Along with it, sitting at one place and in complete calmness, or if I go a step ahead, in complete silence, only listening to your own breath, is why I think even spiritual people, I'm not talking about Kunal, spiritual aspirants who have taken to meditation, even generally people who are spiritual, they love Mahadev for these reasons. And one more thing I can add to this, the reason why people get more drawn towards Shiva, if you look at Mahadev, you'll find that physically very strong, as how we look at Mahadev, right? Physically, muscles, strong. He has a naga around his neck,
Right.
a serpent, which is it's a metaphor for the fact that he's fearless.
Right.
We fear naga, but what I think we learn from Shiva is have the courage to face the difficulties of life, which also is a reason why I think from a optical perspective, to see that strong entity with a naga around him and the jata. So the physical appearance also plays a role in I think many of us getting drawn to Shiva, including myself.
But what's odd about is that, he has the whole range of the spectrum.
Yes.
Is that he can be calm and he can be destructive and angry at the same time. But also his other aspects, like you mentioned, is the physical attributes.
Yeah.
There's the crescent moon.
Yeah.
There's the water coming from the Ganga.
Yeah.
There is his jata. Then there is the Trishul, the Damru.
Correct.
There are so many things, and each one of them signifies something or the other.
True.
But what I love about him is that he's also so human.
Yeah.
So, for example, one of the instances about him being human is where he loses his first wife, and then the way he behaves after that. He goes into mourning. He goes into deep mourning and grief. He carries her all around her body, and eventually he gives up his worldly duties and goes into a trance again.
Correct.
And then he has to be woken up by someone.
Correct.
So we'll get into that. But what's your view on him being so human?
Well, that's what is the reason why many of us connect with Mahadev, that there's a word called being sensitive. I feel that he's very sensitive to people or entities in trouble. That emotion part is what I think pulls us towards Shiva. There are so many instances like that. At the same time, Kunal, if you remember that particular episode of his son, Ganpati.
Yes.
And so there's an aspect of quick thinking where he goes and then, gets the elephant head put on. Now, of course, people who are watching this podcast or this Oddcast would suspect it, and they say, hota hai kaise? There are people, the naysayers would say that. But I do believe that it shows to us who love Mahadev that in times of crisis, how do you quickly come up with a solution, or at least try to, is what makes Mahadev, in that sense, very human, creative, very happy. Which other god would do a tandav?
Yeah.
For me, that's what got me more connected to Mahadev. And like you said very rightly, that when he's in such deep meditation, it's not the right thing to disturb Mahadev. And he was a very nice, very good husband.
Right.
Which also is an attribute. Which is why I think he's a evenly odd god out. Because he has such human facets to him.
Right.
At the same time, spiritually also, he's so awakened.
Right.
That kind of a confluence is very difficult to find in any god, I think.
So I want to discuss with you a little bit about the third eye.
Yeah.
You know, everyone says, "Oh, Shiva, you know, if Bhagwan Shiva opens the third eye, this will happen, that will happen." So, what exactly is the third eye here, and what does it do?
Sure. So I want to show you something. You'll find that in the people who are in this belief, in not disbelief, in the belief that there is God and there are various gods, whenever there is a ceremony, religious, spiritual ceremony, they'll always put a tika like this.
Right.
Yeah. And it symbolizes, people put it because it's very positive, very pure. But to answer your question, it symbolizes the importance of the third eye, which is connected to Mahadev. Now, how do I put it? I mean, there's one way of looking at it where the third eye, जब महादेव की तीसरी आंख खुली तो फिर there was destruction, प्रलय हो गया. I see it also from another point of view. It is also symbolically when you put it, but there is also a chakra called the Ajna chakra here. And if that is opened, it opens the person up to certain faculties of the brain. When this center of the Kundalini opens up, your intuitive powers improve a lot.
You mean like you're talking about a higher consciousness?
Yes, because we use a fraction of the potential that the brain has.
Some people don't even do that.
So I hope, like people are watching, they'll have to check how much percentage. But having said that, on a serious note, Shiva represents the opening of that Kundalini center. So one is destruction, pralay, it's anger. But the other is the fact that it also gives you a different level of understanding of people.
Of knowing.
You can even know, you become clairvoyant. You can also predict what's going to happen. But that happens only when you do under the tutelage of a guru, of course. You practice certain techniques of sadhana by which from Mooladhara chakra, then Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Ajna, Sahasrara, Vishuddhi, they all open up like a lotus. So to come back to your question, the opening of the third eye is representative of both. And, when we talk about destruction, it's not the destruction of buildings and all. Destruction of negativities. Of evil. That could be residing within us. Kam, Krodha, Moh, Maya, they're not good for us. So the destruction of those negative things or emotions, giving way to positive emotions, respecting others, being polite, being humble, being hardworking. Shiva was very hardworking as far as meditation is concerned. He was very hardworking.
Meditation itself is so hard.
Exactly. So therefore, the third eye is, when we look at Shiva, it motivates us.
Right.
That we should also, through our hard work, try and reach a point where the chakra here opens up, the Ajna chakra opens up and lets us into a world which can give us that kind of knowledge.
So, as I understand from you, under the tutelage of a guru, can a normal person achieve this? Like, can he try to get to that level?
Again, let me put a caveat here in the podcast. I'm only sharing what I know through my experiences. So I know for sure, just like if you want to learn karate, it's better to go to an academy.
Absolutely.
Because you just can't you can't do that. You have to be taught.
Absolutely.
And it starts with the foundation and stuff. It's like gym. You can't go and keep lifting stuff here. You'll end up hurting yourself. Similarly, for a normal person, it is good to start with deep breathing. हम लोग नॉर्मल ब्रीदिंग भी नहीं बराबर करते हैं. So start with pranayam. Inhale, hold a little bit, maybe 2-3 seconds, exhale through your nose. So yoga will play a role. It becomes a very beautiful, yet a very subtle preparation for that person. But if it comes to Kundalini and stuff, I've seen some people, they've seen something on the internet, on the YouTube, and they've started trying to, ये cooking नहीं है. देख के मैं भी कर रहा हूँ. It's a serious thing. You can't just experiment with something that can have different consequences.
Because Kundalini is a dormant energy that's
Yes.
wrapped around your tailbone,
Yes,
right? Is what
yes.
they
Yes,
describe
yes.
it as.
So
And it rises and it pierces your chakras and opens them up. But that,
Absolutely.
I've heard of people going in, doing it like you mentioned, internet pe dekh liya and say, do चार video dekh ke chalo, I'll also awaken my Kundalini.
Correct.
And their bodies have become twisted and,
Of course.
they've lost their voice and they've lost their sense of
This is physical.
normalcy.
They've lost their
Yeah,
balance.
they've lost their balance.
What
I've
exactly-
come across. Sorry. Yeah.
What exactly is the Kundalini? First time.
It is supposed to be a very powerful energy situated in the central part of your spinal cord, Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. So Sushumna, you heard of nadis?
Yes.
Okay. I've only heard of it, okay? But I know for sure that at the base of your spine, from the Kundalini resides. It's a Shakti. Now, these are words because they don't have a physical form like air. You can't see electricity unless it's manifested in the form of light or etc. Kundalini is the Shakti that is there within us, situated at the base of the spine, and it travels upwards.
Like a snake, right?
Like a snake, coiled like a snake. Now, these are metaphors.
Correct.
But yeah, in the form, it's coiled.
Right.
And take the example of a spring.
Right.
When it's coiled and you then release it, it has that upsurge. Quite similarly, it's coiled. And only through proper guidance and techniques rather, by your guru or a mentor, it starts going up, that strength. So what is Kundalini? It's the energy that adds to your existence or the way you're living your existing life. It makes you better in many ways. For example, there is a chakra. They call chakras because it goes like this.
Right.
Up to the Sahasrara. So, there's a chakra here called Vishuddhi.
Yeah.
The throat energy center. So when, as Kunal was saying, when the Kundalini goes up and pierces the Vishuddhi chakra and it stays there, it gets awakened. It has been known to enhance your oratory skills.
Wow.
Yeah. Your oratory skills, your general way of communication. There is a lot of vibrance in your voice. That's because that energy gets awakened. It's connected to the throat. So it strengthens your throat. So if somebody asks me, or asks somebody, I won't put myself in that, are you confident? And if the person says, yeah, I'm confident, sir. There's a difference. And if you ask our Indian soldier, are you confident? Yes, I am confident. How's the Josh?
Yeah.
So I'm not here to say whose centers are awakened or not. I'm only giving an example that when the centers get awakened, it has this reflection in your actions. So when you have your Ajna chakra opened up, you get intuitive abilities and powers. To the extent, if you meditate, you can even read people's mind. Intuition is something we also encounter. Sometimes we meet a person and we see and there's no communication.
You get a vibe.
You get a vibe. We use the word vibe for that.
Vibration.
Nahi jam raha hai, to vibe, nahi mil raha vibe. But sometimes you will see and you feel happy to be in connection.
Yeah.
because that person radiates that energy.
And that cannot be explained very well.
Exactly. It can be experienced. And therefore, coming back to your that earlier question, it is good, it is imperative and very, very beneficial to have a guru who will initiate your Kundalini, and through your whatever that the guru initiates you into,
Through the
mantra
kriyas.
japa, kriyas, the guru will know through your actions how the Kundalini is performing. But if you don't, if you just want to, mujhe bhi awaken karna hai Kundalini, mujhe bhi chahiye, it's not an ice cream, man. The people who do anything to, I don't know, it's like a fad for them.
Yeah.
No, there's Kundalini yoga, there's, all these kinds of concepts going on in the West.
Yeah.
The other day I saw something called beer yoga, where actually I'm just having beer and doing yoga. So, it's a fad.
Yeah.
I understand that, but
But it's better to have a guru, spiritual guru, who will guide and mentor you after checking you whether you're fit for it or not.
Absolutely.
It's not that at least in karate you can join the academy. Here you can't. You can't say, Guruji, mujhe na awaken karna hai, ab karo kuch. Doesn't work. You have to earn it.
Right.
There is a preparation.
How do you earn it?
You earn it through firstly getting connected with the Guru. You cannot earn it. I'm talking about Kundalini.
Yes.
You can't earn it just like that. When I say earn it, what I mean by that is the preparation. You got to be prepared. For example, if there are kathas and martial arts, there's a preparation for that. You can't just go and do kathas because you join karate.
Yes.
Coming back to this, the Guru will initiate you into Kundalini only when mentally you look mature, you behave. Mature doesn't mean mature, just mature, balanced. If not, and if you really want, then the Kundalini to be awakened, then the Guru will guide you properly. Pranayam is one of the important aspects of preparation. It helps you in making your mind calm, relaxed. You can't be in anxiety and stress and do these things to
it won't work.
Kundalini.
I mean, you want me to do it only.
Yeah, exactly. So how will you earn is you need to first understand what is the Shakti. Intellectually, understand. You can't just want to have it. You should also connect with spirituality. You can't be working 10 hours a day. आज मूड आ गया, चल यार कुंडलिनी जागृत करते हैं. ऐसा नहीं होता. You can't just wake it up. That's why people go wrong. They think it's easy to just do something and
it's a long and gradual process from what
it is. It's like you and me. We can't be 40 years in 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? We will take our time. It's like when you go for fishing, angling, you will have to practice patience. You can't just say,
I put I need the fish right now. I
only if you're lucky, but most of the times it doesn't. Many times you don't come up with anything. But when you have a guru, and when I use the word guru, I'm using it with responsibility. You have to pray that you get a genuine guru. Because there are some who, like we talked about those different, this academy, that, beer yoga, this yoga. You can always, multiply and diversify in different ways, but how authentic are they? So you should have a guru. That is the first step towards earning. When I say earning, become deserving of it. And becoming a good human being doesn't require anything. Just be a good human being. Respect your parents. Respect your elders. These are also preparations to meet your guru. I know of a guru now a guru. That time, he was a spiritual aspirant, just like many of us, from a very wealthy family in the south. Something happened, and there was a birth of Vairagya inside him. Complete Vairagya. I believe it's because there was an aspect of sannyas yoga in his kundali. Because when he was talking about it, it's like he knows it, that ye nahi hai. He has to leave. So he went in search of a guru. He went to Rishikesh for almost 2.5 years. He searched, but his utkantha was very strong, desire. For 2.5 years, there was nothing.
He didn't find a guru.
No, he didn't come back because he had, uska tha wo ki bas ho gaya abhi. He doesn't want to go back. Of course, he must have read books, spiritual books. He knew that he needed a guru. He used to even ask for alms outside the temple to sustain himself because he had given up everything. That's what happens. They leave everything.
Right.
And then he saw an entity. So listen to this. When he sees that entity, as he says, he kind of felt that connection. Like we talk about waves.
Yeah, he sort of knew that, okay, this is what I've been searching for.
Yeah. He felt that intuition. And it's true. That person checked him, tested him by asking, like, will you be able to do it? Like, why are you here? Go back, na? Ye kya kar rahe ho?
ऐशो आराम की जिंदगी जियो.
This is to test him. And eventually that entity became his guru. Then there was tapasya. This entity had to really undergo, he was under the tutelage of that guru. Every day he had to go and ask for alms because he's a sadhu. So you can't just buy, you have to ask. So he had to go to households. He had to wait outside the temple. Wo chalu tha.
That's very hard to do when you are from reasonable means.
Absolutely.
You're a wealthy person.
It's a huge blow to your ego.
Yeah. So that is what he was trying to do. To shape up the ego. After that, at a point of time, he was then ordained by the
initiated.
Guru. Initiated.
Diksha mil gayi.
वो शिष्य हो गया फिर. उसके बाद, it's not easy at all. And then, so he says that he's seen stuff his guru do. They went to a particular house. It's true, huh? I've not had that experience, but I've seen this person talk about it. They used to walk through the Himalayas. They're all Parivrajkacharyas. They walk around, they'll meet people, they'll talk about God. Where would they stay? In dilapidated houses, maybe some school which has some place. And then if it's a village, they'll be invited by a disciple. So in one of those, it was a a very old temple. In that temple, the guru told him, this person, after checking out, you sleep outside, I'll be inside. And the thing about this relationship was that wherever that Swamiji went, that guru went, he would always be there. Even where they slept, he would be close by to do his seva. So this person was surprised. Why is my guru telling me to sleep outside? And the reason was that it was a haunted place.
Oh.
It had an active ghost inside.
Really?
Yeah. And therefore, this person was told to sleep outside. And through the night, this person couldn't sleep properly. He could hear sounds from inside. So next day, he was told by that guru that there was something that had not been completed, which is why that spirit was a bit, angry. It wouldn't allow people to come and spend time in the temple at night. And this guru delivered moksha. And while doing that, some strength, is what I heard this person say, some part of that guru's strength also goes away.
Okay.
He has to again meditate and get back. Because my guru...
like a recharge.
So all this, of course, I just went away into an experience, but you need to have a guru. And a guru comes with tremendous effort and yearning from that person. And that happens only if you're destined for it. I have my guru. I'm sure my soul would have lived for a few lifetimes to be able to then in this lifetime meet my guru. I feel that I've spent time with my guru also maybe in my previous lives of life. The way, but that feeling towards your guru is very different than how you feel about with your son or your parent or your wife. It's very different. It's divine, full of sanctity. I can't talk to my guru like the way I'm chatting with you. It doesn't work that way at all. I've seen the same when my guru's guru would come, and the reverence and the respect with which my guru would just look at my guru's guru. Even when my guru's guru would sit and give a pravachan, my guru would be seated there with a pen and pad making notes. And that's when I realized I'm sitting there with a lot of people in a temple. My guru's making notes.
And you're just there.
I'm just sitting there. Arrogance. Ego. So thankfully, I affirm to myself that ये ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. Because if my guru, who's for me my guru, is making those notes, why can't I make notes when my guru is giving a lecture?
Right.
So even recently when my guru was at Kerala, I realized, oh shit, I forgot my book to write. So I made notes on my mobile phone. But it's interesting because when you listen to your guru, you may be making 10 points, but 2, 3 stick to you. And they remain with you for a long, long time, if not for the rest of your life. But putting all this into perspective, the Mahaguru, the Gurunka Guru is Mahadev. I mean, that entity is such. Like my guru went to meet Mahadev is how I look at it. Wow. At Kailash.
Wow. I want to talk to you about your guru because you're one of the rare people we know of that has a guru, and you actually went and did the parikrama of Mount Kailash, which is Bhagwan Shiva, the board.
Yes.
I want to get into that, but before that, I just want to ask you one question, that the word Bholenath. Now, he's called Bholenath. And the reason I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is because they say the belief is that whoever goes and prays earnestly to Lord Shiva, he is granted with boons. Now, the prime example of all this is Ravana. Now, Ravana himself was a very bad, he turned into a very bad person. Correct. He was very knowledgeable, very learned, etc.
Right.
And people say he's a Shiv Bhakt, etc. But actually, he was an accidental Shiv Bhakt. Because he tried to, steal something from the area of Mount Kailash, and he was stopped by Lord Shiva. And then he came to know that, okay, this is the supreme being, or this is a power which is so high up that, I can't do anything. So, he then became a Shiv Bhakt.
Correct.
And then after that, when he started praying to Lord Shiva started just granting him, just dishing out boons to him. Correct. So my point is that, having known what a kind of a person, the background of Ravana, Bhagwan Shiva is still giving him boons. So is that the reason why he's called Bholenath, or is there some other reason,
That's probably the most important reason why Mahadev is called Bholenath. Even if you generalize, it would be possible for anybody to go and impress Mahadev. Ravana did that. And again, it's a learning for us as well, Kunal, that what Mahadev taught us through that is, you can give a second chance to somebody. You can't typecast that person as a bad person, because like you yourself said, and it's true, that he turned out,
into a Shiv Bhakt.
Yeah. And it's the ego of Ravana that destroyed him at the end.
Absolutely.
He was Nipuna. He was well versed in Sanskrit. He was instrumentalist. That's the word. He was the one who crafted and articulated the Shiva Tandav Stotra.
But even then he had such a big ego, because then he wanted Lord Shiva to come and stay with him in Lanka, and he tried to, move him out, etc. And, all those things happened.
True. So, you'll be surprised to know, Kunal, that there are people, I can't say so many, I've seen, who are genuinely ardent devotees of a particular temple and a particular guru. But they don't realize surreptitiously how the ego comes in to a point where they go against that same temple, that same guru.
Really?
Yeah.
But that's human, right?
Yeah.
All of us
That
are
is why Mahadev is innocently giving you chance to improve. ये वरदान जब भी देते हैं, it's an opportunity for you to feel,
to redeem
and to feel indebted to the guru. Now, if that doesn't happen, it's also because of prarabdha, past life karmas, which also has its role. So Ravana had to get killed by Rama. It was part of his prarabdha. He thanks him. But yes, so there are a lot of learnings in this, which emanates from the perceived innocence of Mahadev. Perceived. Mahadev innocently gave the vardhan so that you feel happy, you are able to work on it, etc. And as a guru, I feel, because I am a student, or as a teacher will be very happy to see efforts by a student. So a guru like Mahadev would be pleased, because you know that Ravana used to meditate for a very long time, and he meditated so much that impressed Mahadev, and then a vardhan was offered. Similarly, when we look up to our guru, what impresses our guru is not the externalized aspects of, I've got a promotion. So the guru
I'm
says,
wearing an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
They'll be like, okay, good for you, fine. Time is same now or different? Time to way. But what impresses the guru is the depth of meditation. If I bring my experience here, to be honest, the question that would be seriously asked by my guru was, how is your japa going? How is your japa going is more important than what watch I wear and which car I bought. Those are, theek hai, good for you. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. You're doing well, good. Jab kaise chal raha hai? How is your internal mechanism working? That, to my guru, has been most important.
So a guru, I would say that it would be more looking more into your inner world than your outer world.
Correct.
Right.
And I believe Mahadev would do the same.
Absolutely.
Was doing the same with. There are so many Ravanas even today.
Absolutely.
Who may not look like Ravanas, but you know what I'm saying.
In their thoughts and deeds, they are.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I wish that we all are blessed with an entity we call Guru, yes, an entity who helps us to internally become better. Because materially, there are so many well-to-do people who are still unhappy and creating unhappiness in others' lives as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
So better to have a guru who, I like the word used, internal mechanics or mechanism के ऊपर जो प्राधान्य देता है, फोकस देता है, वो गुरु ही होते हैं. Externally तो करते हैं. My guru is very also very attentive and conscious about physical fitness. I did karate, by the way, for 2 years because of the motivation from my guru. Not only me, many people from my community decided to join karate because the simple logic is, as Swami Vivekananda also mentions, is that if you have a good body, you can meditate more.
In fact, Swami Vivekananda was the one who said that, playing football brings you closer to God than praying to Him.
True.
He used it as a meditation tool, that any sport is like a meditation.
Absolutely.
You're actually totally involved. You're not thinking about other things. He said that about it.
In fact, just a segue from what we're talking, I play table tennis. And table tennis is a quick game. It tests your reflexes. It's not like ball aa gaya, chalo coffee maar ke, or you have to be very fast.
Absolutely.
So every game, as you said,
it's dynamic.
It's dynamic. And I'm sure Swami Vivekananda really had an impact because in India, football is more concentrated in Kolkata.
Yeah, in certain pockets in India, I agree.
Yeah.
So I want to move into, while Bhagwan Shiva resides in our hearts, our mind, our body, our soul, but he actually, the belief is that he resides in Mount Kailash physically. Now, there's a lot of stuff around Mount Kailash that we keep reading on the internet that, oh, there's time dilation there, there's occult stuff there, there's supernatural stuff happening there. And the reason I'm asking you this is because you have been there with your guru and you've done a parikrama.
Correct.
First thing I want to ask is that a lot of people say it's a man-made structure. What do you think?
I think from what I saw with my own eyes, it looks like a man-made structure. Second point, it looks absolutely different from the other mountains of the Himalayas. Third point,
It stands out oddly.
absolutely. It's an odd mountain, which makes people even.
Right. That's beautiful.
But it's true. It has an impact on all of us because of the strong conviction that Mount Kailash, Kailash, however you call it, radiates of the presence of Shiva. It also looks like an ancient crystallized rock.
Right.
With edges. It's almost triangular in shape.
But by man-made, you say that, you mean like a higher being?
Yeah. So coming to your first point, it looks like man-made. Whether it is or not, I cannot claim that because I didn't go and there's nobody, no architect there, nothing like that. But yeah, I do believe that there are entities beyond humans with skills which could be far more advanced than ours.
And tech.
And tech as well. For example, a smaller example would be if you go to Egypt and you look at those pyramids.
Right.
There's still a debate going on whether man built it or something else because it's
alien civilizations.
Yeah, because it's aged to be much before time, like before all these engineering concepts came out. But maybe there were aliens, there were entities which had far more advanced knowledge than what we have. Same logic could be applied to Kailash Parvat. When I saw the Kailash, the edges of the Kailash mountain, they look like somebody's chipped it off, made it look perfect. It's huge. It's broad. It may not be tall as an Everest, but it's got its own strong significance. Sachin Tendulkar may not be the tallest, but he is a legend of cricket.
Absolutely.
And similarly, Kailash, the personality that it emanates is a Shiva personality, is what I felt there.
So you said that it's not an Everest, which means that's definitely not one of the tallest and most difficult peaks to climb. So why can't anybody climb it?
True. That's true.
Trekking and hiking has been banned there for centuries.
Correct.
Why?
True.
Why?
So the question is, why can't anybody climb it? It's not because of any technical reasons. It's climbable. It's trekkable. But you cannot because of the significance it radiates, which is very spiritual. When we went to Kailash on the parikrama, from Kathmandu, we were driven, we were taken in those Mitsubishi Pajeros. The driver was of Chinese origin. While we were there, we could see those flags put up. When we entered the Himalayan region, they were put up by the Tibetans. We saw some Tibetans prostrating to mountains and doing the parikrama. What I'm trying to say is, it's revered and respected by people of different beliefs because there is something that is spiritual. We too believe that there is Mahadev there. I also believe, because I saw it, more than the image of Shiva standing there with a Trishul on Kailash, beyond that, the entire shaping of Kailash, the way it looks, the feeling you get is that is a different Shivalinga.
Mm.
Normally, shivlings are shivlings,
Right.
how
Yeah.
we see. But it gives you a sense of extremely high regard and respect. You feel like it's a shivling, and therefore, we who believe in Shiva can't even imagine climbing a shivling. Have you ever seen anybody getting into a temple and saying, maybe there's a shivling which is like 30 feet high?
I mean, they would love to touch it and hug it or something,
Yeah.
but not climb it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
You
not.
can't climb it.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody may want to put some flowers, so they'll go on a
Yeah,
kind of
something like that, yeah.
elevator and
Right.
but you can't climb.
Right.
It's not a rock to be climbed for
Right.
sure, because of the spiritual significance. The belief system doesn't reside in only us. It resides in different nationalities as well.
Chinese, Tibetans,
Absolutely.
etc.
Even spiritual people. Maybe somebody. So there are people who try to climb as well. Somebody from a European country tried to climb and got completely disoriented. Because there is
Disoriented meaning?
disoriented as
Yeah,
in.
I mean, like, what happened?
He forgot where he was. His mind was swirling, and it was almost like a message to him that you got to go back, because he lost his confidence to continue the climb.
He lost his bearings.
Yeah.
Mm.
Second one, from what I know, who tried to climb, started seeing things falling on him, like an avalanche. So he had to retreat. It doesn't even allow you to climb. And you're not even, so we can't, because for us, it's so sacred.
Mm.
We can't climb something. We are touching our feet with that. We can't. And that's why, and therefore, the Chinese authorities who are in charge of that region, because it's in Tibet, they have not allowed people to climb, not even touch. To touch or to go towards Kailash, you need permission.
Mm.
In my case, what happened is, Kunal, my guru and me, we were together. We saw a yogi doing a parikrama alone. Imagine, this is where we are. We are standing here taking rest. We are also doing a parikrama. We see this entity walking. He sees my guru because they're in that orange robe. Even my guru is
In the snow.
in the snow.
Mm.
So he comes close and they exchange some words. I think my guru also wanted to know, because he's walking alone.
Mm.
We are 80 of us. This entity took my guru. A little later, after the yatra was over, before we returned, he took my guru towards the Kailash.
Wow.
And my guru was able to touch the base. And while Swamiji was in complete surrender and prostration to Kailash, Swamiji heard a sound of a rock falling, a small piece of rock, plop, in the snow. And that was kind of a prasad.
Mm.
And my guru brought that for his guru.
Wow.
This is how it works. And therefore, it's unimaginable to see yourself climbing the Kailash, because it's so sacred. Only when you go there, you see the sacredness of it. In my case, I became more spiritual. The aspect of ritualism and rituals kind of got more subdued. I still follow some rituals and they're nice. As Swami Vivekananda has said, rituals are supposed to make you more spiritual.
Right. Hmm.
Because that's what gets you more involved.
Yeah, into the bhakti.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like today, even now, when I see my guru perform Shiva Pujan, and then Swamiji also does the Archana, Bilva, because Mahadev loved Bilva. Every time my guru would place the bay leaf on that idol of Shiva, Chota Sa Hai, during puja, and we are like in our 200-300 people sitting there, we're completely involved in that ritual of puja.
Mm.
So rituals, of course, help in getting us more involved. They take us, they're supposed to, and we should be involved in that, through which we become more spiritual. But when you see Kailash, it changes everything. I mean, you are at the epicenter of that energy called Mahadev. आप वहां पे ही हो और कहाँ पे है? On earth, it's Mahadev resides at Kailash. There's something more. There's so much more that gets awakened. Suved, we meditate in our town of Pune, or somebody would be in Mumbai. We could be in an ashram. We could be in a temple. Wonderful. But to meditate in that kshetra of Himalayas, and that too at the base of Kailash, has a very, very potent impact on us, spiritually speaking. I personally think it helps us to intensify our japa, our meditation so much that it opens up certain faculties of the brain. That I can tell you for sure because I've experienced it. But you got to earn it. You can't go there and say, आ रहा है कुछ तो आ रहा है हाँ I'm feeling good. ऐसा थोड़ी होता है.
उड़ रहा हूं मैं.
हाँ. That happens probably with the beer yoga.
I guess so.
उड़ रहा हूं मैं.
I guess so.
But there you get, you become aware of the fact that you're thinking differently. You become aware of it because that's what happened to me. And you bring that part back to where you live.
Does it stay?
Yeah, of course. Look at me. It stayed. It does stay. But for that, the caveat is you got to be spiritually doing something. It's like somebody says, I want to learn a foreign language. I want to learn Spanish.
You have to go through everything, right?
Huh?
You have to go through the whole process.
Yeah. So if you ask the question, does it stay? The answer is you got to keep practicing.
Absolutely.
So we also need to. I do my japa, through the japa, after the japa, before the japa, through my paintings, through my writing, I get connected to that entity. So it stays. But definitely it arouses inside you the aspiration to do something beyond what you're already doing. At the core, I think, Kunal, what it has done to me, and I'm sure many others who've been there, is it has made us more innovative and creative. Kuch naya karna hai. That how's the Josh is what I think Kailash asks us.
Oddcast karna hai.
Or, I know, exactly. And the only advantage I have is I've been there. I cannot claim to say all this if I've read it. And there are so many reels. Every day I see 5 reels, which are good. They're good ways of
But there's a
feeling.
lot of misinformation.
Yeah, of
a lot
course.
Of misinformation.
And thankfully, I can't. Like I was telling you before the Oddcast, I don't like to just,
Make stuff up, yeah.
Yeah, masala डालना है तो खाने में डालो यार. Not in store. And that's why I say I'm happy that I got to go and do the parikrama of Kailash Mansarovar. And that too with my guru, Swami Sadyojata Shankarashram. And I was not even, I was pretty chilled out in life because I was 28. I was not married. As in, I didn't have any responsibilities. I just went with an open mind, of course. This is a very beautiful Oddcast because I see a father and son. Similarly, it was beautifully odd for my father to encourage me to go as well. Because normally a dad would be like, "Tu kaam karna apna." He said, "Don't worry, you go, you're getting an opportunity. You come back." Like I came back. I can be very theatrical and say I came back a different person. I think I came back with a few additional streams of thought processes. मुझे कुछ creative करना था. I never had painted and all, but I started doing that. It changes your attitude to life. Attitude ऐसे हो जाता है कि you say, why not?
Are you trying to get at that basically being there and meditating there is a faster way to open up certain centers of your brain that you never used before?
Yes.
Is that what you're getting at?
I think you should be here, I should be there. You're saying you're conceptualizing or assimilating it really well. True. And it comes with experience. That's why I'm not able to articulate it in the way that you did,
Right.
which was very beautiful. I can only speak through my actions.
Right.
I don't know if I mentioned in my earlier podcast or podcast with you, but I really was not very good in my English subject. how is it possible that once I come back, and it's true, I wrote 2 books of English poems.
Hmm.
My own fun. I call them books because one of my mentors, Vineet Bhatnagar, he said, "You're writing so much," and he loved my poems. He said, "Why don't you turn it into a book?
Publish
at least,
it, yeah.
Because at least it'll not get lost."
Right.
Because earlier, no, it used to be just written material, cyclostyles, sheets, etc. So he said, turn it into a book, and he bought my books as well, so that it would fund the printing process.
Right.
But Kunal, you have to go there and meditate and see the repercussions or the positive benefits of that, which only cannot be articulated in words, but you'll see it in the way you will feel. Are kya ho raha hai?
Hmm.
Your behavior also becomes different. Not that you're completely changed, but you kind of, I feel it balances you. It makes you genuinely mature.
I think meaningful rather than meaningless.
Correct.
That's where you head to.
Correct. And I can tell you also one more thing, that it makes you search more.
Hmm.
It makes you imagine more.
Hmm.
The reason I wrote the 2 books, that the Aghori book, part 1 and part 2, and I've written something else as well called Antariksh. It's all imagination, of course, based on reality, but it eggs you to express yourself more. Maybe that's why I'm hopefully sharing my experiences here in a way that our viewers will get encouraged. Therefore,
surely, I hope so.
At least, if not Kailash, at least go to the Himalayas. Kunal, I am not a crowd person. If I see a crowd anywhere, including in a temple, I would rather wait. But if you go to Kailash, like when I went in 2001, there wasn't anyone. You feel like you're alone on earth. That feeling itself is very, very therapeutic. It makes you philosophical.
It's not scary?
No, it was. If you've seen the movie I Am Legend.
Yeah, of course. He's all alone on this planet.
Of course, that's a very different
dog.
Yeah, but that's a different context. It is scary. I'm hoping they come with a part 2 as well. But anyway, he's alone, right? And it's a bit eerie. Here, and I'll tell you, this happened to me when I was doing the parikrama of Manasarovar first, after which we went to do the parikrama of Kailash. Because I was in a tent close to my guru's tent, so that I could be in the seva. I got some time. By evening, when I went there, it was not completely dark. It was like twilight. The sky is different, by the way. The atmosphere is different. So I went. It wasn't too far from the tent, the bank of the Manasarovar. I sat there. I just sat there for some time. It wasn't filmy kuch nahi tha. I just wanted to be alone. When I looked around, there was nobody. And I could see the silhouettes of the Himalayas.
Wow.
I couldn't see I didn't know which one was Kailash because we were about to go to Kailash, but I'm sure it was there. And the silhouettes of Himalayas, and you are in some way transported into a different world because you feel that way. Of course, you're there, you're on earth, but you feel, and that feeling that is this earth? Oh, where am I? Oh my God, wow. It's too profound, yeah. Which gave me a bit of jitters. But
it's overwhelming.
It is indeed. Just like when you see Kailash, it is overwhelming because you've heard about it, you've read about it, and there it is. Like you said, it's huge. It's not tall, it's massive. And in that, now, if you can learn, which I did before going. So when you're there, and while you're there in front of the Kailash or in front of the Manasarovar, if you can even chant a little bit. So there I chanted, Om Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo न खलु कुशलस्पन्दितुमपि अतः स्वामाराध्यां Harihara Virincha Dibhirapi Pranautum Stotum Va Kathamakrita Punya Prabhavati. So I chanted this because I love this shloka, and it's very madhura. It's not too robust. So because sometimes aggression also would have probably could have got me more in fear. This was very calming. It made me realize nothing to worry. My guru's here. So I was brought back into reality. I hope, when I share all this, you and Suved and all our viewers would put this into perspective. That when we go to Kailash, how should be our mindset? At the base, it should be spiritual. You cannot go there because you believe in Shiva, and when you go there, you're wondering, where are my wafers? Or now to, यहाँ पे reel बनाते हैं. It cannot be that way because that energy is very intelligent. You surrender, you create good vibrations mentally or like through stotrams, you will get a return on this investment of those vibrations. For me, that vibration, that frequency, that wave or waves that come to you because of what you do is Mahadev.
So you just chanted a very beautiful mantra, and my question is that if I go there as a normal layman who has zero idea about what to do, what am I supposed to expect over there? How do I know which stotam or mantra to chant over there correctly?
It's a very interesting question, very relevant because people don't know what to do. So when it comes to chanting, you can chant Daridra Dukkha Dahana Shiva Stotra. So what I'm saying is chant any Shiva Stotra. Om Vishveshwaraya Vishakantha Vibhushanaya Karnamritaya Shashishekhara Dharanaya Karpurakanti Dhavalaya Jatadharaya Daridra Dukkha Dahanaya Namah Shivaya Daridra Dukkha Dahanaya Namah Shivaya Daridra Dukkha Dahanaya Namah Shivaya. This you can chant. You can even chant Namo Devyai Mahadevyai Shivayai Satatang Namah Namah Prakrite Bhadrayai Niyatah Pranatasmatam Raudrayai Namo Nityayai Gauryai Dhatre Namo Namah Jyotsnayai Chendurupinyai Sukhayai Satatang Namah Kalyanyai Pranatam Vridhyai Siddhyai Kurmo Namo Namah Netratrai Bhubrutam Lakshmyai Sharvanyai Te Namo Namah. You can chant. I've chanted 3 verses. You can chant 1. It's a Devi Aparajita Stotram se hai wo. Lekin it has got the presence of the vibrations of Shiva in that. So anyone who goes there can chant the Daridra Dahana. But yes, one request is chant with full emotion. Don't get conscious of the fact that I'm chanting, people are going to watch, because you may go in a group typically.
Yeah.
तो फोकस अगर वहां पे रहेगा ना, तो आपका इम्पैक्ट जो होता है, it happens mainly on yourself. Your blood vessels, your nervous system, your brain cells, they all start responding to it. And finally, one more you can add to this set of chantings. Apart from Daridra Dahana Shiva Stotra, Devi Aparajita Stotram, you can also chant Om Jata Katahi Sambhraman Brahman Nilimpa Nirjhari Vilola Vichi Vallari Virajamana Murdhani Dhagat 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 Jwalalla Lata Patta Pavake Kishora Chandra Shekhare Rati Pratikshanam Mama. Shivatandav Stotra ka ye ek verse hai. But when you say that Dhagat Dhagat, you feel the vibration.
The emotion changes completely.
Yeah, it alters the way you look at. You become more involved and intense about Kailash, about Mahadev. You don't leave any space in your mind to think about anything else, but you got to say it with that kind of verve, with that passion. Should feel the energy, the robustness of Shiva in front. Even if you're at Manasarovar,
Right.
even if you're in that region of Himalayas, you can chant this.
Okay, I have a couple of questions about Mansarovar, but before we get into that, I just want to know, from what I understand, that even you were doing a parikrama of the Kailash mountain.
Yeah.
Did you see anything over there that you wouldn't normally see over here?
In fact, I'll have to alter your question.
Hmm.
Did I see anything while I was doing the parikrama of Manasarovar and Kailash? Because when you're going to, you have to first do the parikrama of Manasarovar.
Okay.
It's like a preparation and intensification of you when you go to,
Like a warm up.
yeah, warm ups. Bhai, it's much more intense than warm up.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, it prepares you. Very true. So when you are at Manasarovar and you are seated or you're standing and you're just connected with the Sarovar, especially in the night skies, you see millions of stars because the sky is extremely clear. But what I saw, or should I say experienced, are lights which could be stars, but I'm sure they were not because they were too close to the surface of the Manasarovar. And I saw some shooting into the water.
Like you saw it hitting the water for sure.
Not hitting.
It
like
but it interacted with it.
Yeah, going in, yeah.
Okay.
And there is no proper human related explanation to this because it's an experience. That's why I say you got to see it.
Yeah.
Right now, it sounds a bit delusional.
I mean, if you go and say this outside, people are going to troll you. They'll laugh at you. They'll abuse you.
I'm cool with that.
That's why we're okay to say all this on the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
It's all odd.
It's true. And in any case, going outside, no?
Yeah.
I think the odd people will understand.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. I think just like we have our spiritual keenness to go and explore and do the parikrama of Manasarovar, there are other entities who also come towards the Manasarovar to take a dip because it's a holy water. Do I know who they are? No. Are they humans? Could be. Because I know for sure that there are entities in human forms who can even make their body into energy. They can even make themselves not visible to us.
Can they make certain things like caves not visible to us?
Yes, but I was lucky to see, I was blessed to see one small cave. When I say small, caves are typically a bit smaller, but this was probably a very small cave, like a chamber. And this was while I was doing the parikrama of Kailash. We were walking along, and I do admit that I'm very inquisitive. So I just happened to see, and I was doing my Guru's seva. So I was just walking along with my Guru. My Guru was in front. And I just stopped for a second to look around. And I saw that there was this kind of a depression inside, and I didn't know what to make of it. I should have, I feel, but I couldn't have stopped there and gone in because I felt for sure there was something inside. It was dark.
Like a gut feeling.
Yeah, because I couldn't see anything inside.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a dungeon type. It's a cave, right? But it was deeper and a bit narrower. Like what's an igloo, right?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know how you name it.
It's got a small entrance.
Yeah, very small entrance. I did come across that for sure. I just kept it in my mind that there must be something. I was energized by that thought, by the vision, by what I saw, but I couldn't do much about it because I was in my Guru Seva. But then we walked ahead. There are sages who, for the reasons of being unknown to the world and for completely immersing themselves into deep meditation, they go into the waters of the Manasarovar and then they dive beneath to the floor, lake floor, and they sit there and meditate as well.
For how long?
It can go on for a few hours to a few days.
You mean that they can stay underwater
Yes.
and meditate for that long because
Yes.
of what?
Because of the yoga that they do. They
Oh.
have developed such strength and their certain faculties have opened up to such an extent that they don't associate themselves with the body.
Oh.
I know for sure of another incident where a yogi was meditating, but he felt the need to go and relieve himself because he is a
Like
human.
while he was underwater.
No, this is in the forest.
Okay.
I'm giving an example of the control over the human body. Then his guru, because he had to go to the toilet and then to eat food, he had to get up. He didn't even want to do that. There are entities that way as well. A herb in the form of a small little seed was given to him and he was told that if you have this herb, firstly keep it inside your mouth for some time. It will, what should I say? It will take away your hunger and your thirst for 11 days, 11 to 12 days. You will not feel that. You will not have to get up to even go to the washroom, as in to relieve yourself, so that you can meditate more. ऐसे भी हैं in the forest, ऐसे भी herbs हैं, जड़ी बूटी हैं, that can give you the necessary nutrients and proteins just through that seed. Have you heard of Rechaka?
No, not really.
It's where you take your tongue inside your mouth and you make the tip of your tongue go inside and touch a particular part of your throat inside. It releases a substance which can also, therefore, not make you thirsty or hungry.
Damn.
It's called Rechaka. It's there, even on internet, you'll probably see. But yogis practice this. Those yogis who want to not get disturbed, and therefore they gain the control over their organs and the physical body. Have you heard of Swami Rama? Again, Swami Rama was taken to the US by doctors because they couldn't believe the fact that Swami Rama had the control over his involuntary organs. For example, heartbeats, the functioning of the organs inside, he could control it.
That's just insane. Absolutely.
They tested him. And that video I've seen because Swami Rama took Samadhi as well. He's written a lovely book called Walking with the Himalayan Master. His experiences as a sadhu, as a yogi in the Himalayas. Unbelievable. To us, it is unbelievable.
But for them, it's just part of their daily routine.
Of course. They will never
show off.
Yeah. That they cannot do because it leaks them of their strength.
And then the spiritual ego comes in.
Yes, that also happens.
Right.
I think, this has been a great Oddcast. I think what we need to understand is that there is a lot of stuff that needs to be known, but a lot of stuff that also needs to be not known.
Yep.
And that's why probably, the higher beings or God or, whatever the entity that created us with a clean slate every time we are born.
Correct.
We don't remember what's happened in the past. We don't know what's happening in the future. And however, having said that, from this Oddcast, my takeaway is that the gods have also provided us ways through spirituality to get closer to knowing more.
Exactly.
I think I would sum this Oddcast up as
the beauty of this Oddcast has been it's so even.
Yeah.
In the sense of we hopefully, because I only spoke about what I saw and felt, so it was very honest. And there it leaves us with a mystery,
Right.
a question which would hopefully encourage even you and Suved to make a trip to Kailash Manasarovar, because it's life changing.
No, we are already planning it.
Yeah, and believe you me, if you are spiritually inclined, not you are, of course, I'm saying anyone is, um, it's the most beautiful temple in the world.
And it's not a temple.
And it's not a temple.
That's odd.
You don't feel claustrophobic by the walls. You're out, which is why once you go to Kailash Mansarovar, once you go to the Himalayas, you really fall in love with nature.
Mm.
You have no idea how much I love nature more after coming back from Kailash.
Mm.
Even a leaf or a flower
Can bring out that joy.
Yeah, even a caterpillar. You start looking at the legs of the caterpillar, you start admiring even that. And that, I guess, happens through the impact. I shouldn't say I guess, it does happen through the impact of going to Kailash Mansarovar.
Wow. Thank you so much for being with us. It was a wonderful podcast. Thanks to you. And we look forward to many more with you.
Definitely. I would say that this has been truly very beautifully odd. I put up a post saying that the Oddcast has called me probably because they call only odd people like me. But I'm very happy that
That's true, though.
I know. Thank you. But I do feel that, Suved, it's nice to, youngsters today want to travel.
Mm.
And I always say, why do you want to only go to a country outside India? We don't even know what lies in Meghalaya, for example.
Yeah, true.
We want to travel to this country, Bangkok, Thailand, Jao. But first, you have such amazing nature that will inspire you, that will change your life, as it has done my life, because I was 28. So I really hope that this podcast will awaken that desire in all of them.
I hope so.
And all of us to venture and explore.
Sure. Right.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har
Har Har
Mahadev.
Mahadev.